Good evening. Thank you so much for the invitation. Next time, please don't exaggerate so much at the introduction so I don't have to feel slightly nervous now. I am so pleased to be here because to me, one of the most exciting things is to step out of what we call our bubbles and to engage with other people in other sectors, in other disciplines, to try to find out what is the common patterns that we observe changing on this planet, and especially find the patterns that we want to build a new society on. Because in the end, this is what sustainability transformation scholars do look at, nothing less but how we are going to invent the lifestyles of the 21st century, and thus reorganize the operating system behind it, our business models, our ways that we relate between humans and human and nature. And so at first I was a bit concerned. I thought, as a scientist, you're usually speaking on subjects that you actually do research on. And key change and gender balance and diversity was not necessarily at the core of what I've been looking at. And so I thought, is that really something that I can contribute to? But then I thought, once you step out a bit, yes, the connections are all over the place. First and foremost, we see in subjects like climate protests, female representatives really being out there. We see in protests against dictatorships, in protests against the rolling back of female rights, women out there really stepping up to confront power, to confront those that are trying to maintain relationships that we understand are not going to be the ones that can guide us through the 21st century. And then I thought, even in my own discipline, it's quite fascinating when you look at, and the conservative newspaper just observed this recently, who's researching family and environmental issues as an economist? Primarily women. They only now start making it into the rankings of influential economists. The real subjects that were looked at there obviously was the extraction of material and matter for the sake of making money from living systems. And this has been myopic, and this has been a tunnel vision that has not helped us to understand relationships that would be catering for life and the replenishing of life, our ecosystems, but also our human relationships in a meaningful way. And this is why it's so important to see women stepping up, but also men opening up. I can't tell you how important it is when you do notice something around a gender issue emerging, something about racism emerging, something about someone exerting power over someone else, that not the victim has to speak up, but someone else in the room. And this is why we do need to come to the relationships of partnership rather than of dominance. We have to share the power out of a hierarchical system that is extracting from the social and ecological system they're embedded in, into regenerating and replenishing those. To recalibrate who's got the freedom to take responsibility, to show what's the diverse ways that we can actually organize those relationships between ourselves and with Mother Nature. And this is why I think it is important that we join forces, that we connect across sectors, that we step out of our comfort zones, get out of our disciplines, and break up the rules that keep us hostage, that keep us going in directions where most of us are already agreeing it's not where we want to continue going. And this is what we call a social tipping point in transformation studies. And I think we're at this point. It's a highly contested phase because something old is dying, and something new cannot quite yet be born and grasped. So we see a lot of stress happening. For some, it's more freedom. For others, it's giving up privileges. So how do we connect? How do we put an emphasis on that, what we want to conserve, the freedoms that we want to maintain, and the new that we'd like to see emerge? And sometimes, and this is why I'm so happy to be here, that's so much easier in experience. Not casting words at each other, but listening together. Connect with the inner essence of what scientists are not very good at getting at. We're good at expressing things in words and numbers, our emotions, our love for the planet, for life, for each other. And this is why now I have the grand pleasure to introduce the next performer here, whilst thanking you all for breaking those boundaries, especially the organizers here today. It's the fantastic 20-year-old and self-made businesswoman, a songwriter on the rise, it says here, and a shining star in her own right. I have not had the pleasure to see her before. Very much looking forward to welcome Griff now. Thank you all very much.